My name's Sinclair Dunlop. I'm managing partner of Epidarex Capital. We are an early stage venture fund based here in Edinburgh. We focus on the top health and health related technology opportunities coming out of our major universities and research institutes. We typically lead Series A seed stage or Series A rounds of funding, anywhere in the range of £2 to £5 million, and we syndicate with a range of co-investors both within and from out with Scotland as well.
So tell us a little bit about Epidarex Capital and the types of companies that are of interest to your fund.
So Epidarex Capital focuses on opportunities that are built around the most novel and compelling technology opportunities. So in some cases that may mean a relatively raw and early stage piece of science, but the applications of which could have a major impact typically on the health and healthcare markets.
You work with investors from Hong Kong, US, Japan.
Yep.
Where do you see future investment into Scotland coming from?
Well, I had the pleasure of joining an EIE trip to East Asia a couple of months ago, and it was very encouraging to see investor interest in a broad range of new technologies coming out of Scotland from investors in both mainland China and in markets such as Hong Kong. I think there's great potential for both new sources of risk capital from those markets coming to Scotland, and also strategic partners that can also bring investment capital with them. I think the Korean market as well as the Japanese is an area where we've had success in the past, and I think in a place like Hong Kong there is more appetite for early stage higher risk investing than there might have been a few years ago. I think it's also very important to look at the US market, not just as a source of capital, but also for business development partners in all of it.
So from a talent spark perspective, we're always interested in who's involved in the team within a business. How important is the founding team to you as an investor in terms of helping you to make that decision?
It's critically important. I mean, the old cliche on what are the three most important things about an investment proposition are management, management and management. There is a lot of truth to that. Now, that said, given how early stage some of the opportunities are that we're investing in, it would be unrealistic for us to expect a fully baked, entirely already recruited C-level executive team to be in place at the point at which we start considering an investment opportunity. One of the ways in which we like to work with our investees is to identify with partners sources of talent, key individuals who could be brought into the team sometimes shortly after our investment, but it's often helpful to identify some of those individuals in the run-up to making the investment.
So if a founding team's coming to you and it's in its kind of core state, how can they illustrate that they have expertise and give the credibility to their business that would give you the confidence to invest?
Well, the key areas of expertise backing of the core scientific proposition would be key opinion leaders, other academics, the key published authors and scientists that know this particular area in which they wish to build a business, others that know this technology well, that can give an endorsement of the individuals, whether it's a protege of a senior scientist who had mentored the key scientific team. Who they know and by whom they're known is very relevant within the technology field.
What advice would you offer to a CEO in terms of trying to develop the core competencies that you would like to see, and how do you address some of those issues if you feel you are struggling in certain areas?
The first advice would be to be ambitious. It is a sign to us of the confidence that the founding entrepreneur or founding scientist has in his or her proposition if they are aiming very high and trying to attract the top experts, the top key opinion leaders, senior industry figures, not necessarily the sitting CEO of a Fortune 50 company, but someone who might have been in that role in the past before before his or her relatively recent retirement. If an individual believes in his or her proposition coming into the door to us, which they really need to in order to convince us, a sign of that same ambition and confidence is the stretch with which they have reached to bring in very other senior figures. And if they've managed to pull that off, even in an informal advisory capacity, when we're doing our diligence, we will go to other people. The best way to check out people is to talk to other people.
what advice would you offer to young founders who are maybe struggling in the role that they've got? Should they be honest with their investor, or how should they move the business forward?
Honesty is critical. There are so many aspects of early stage investing that are wholly non-quantitative and exclusively qualitative. And as a result, trust and human relationships between investor and investee are the foundation of building any company successfully. So to come in with a proposition where the entrepreneur, the founding scientists are honest with us about what they don't know, that is actually a source of great reassurance to us, as is an acknowledgement that the team is not yet fully built. And to identify gaps in a team early on is well received. And frankly, if the entrepreneur didn't already identify that, we'd be thinking it anyway.
Yeah.